Hey guys, I'm going to do a combined double review. I'm going to be doing Legends of Tomorrow, Season 4, Episode 11, Seance and Sensibility. Then talk a little bit about Arrow, Season 7, Episode 18, Lost Canaries, both featuring Katie Lotz in both episodes tonight. So this one had to deal with Mona's still on the ship and taking refuge on the ship, and everybody's like attending Hank Hayward's funeral. He it's one of the reasons why he stays behind for their next mission, because for the obvious reasons, but he's still bitter about his dad and learning about his secrecy and what he's been doing with the magical creatures. And so because of Mona's apparently a big Jane Austen fan. Apparently, the names of characters from Jane Austen's novels disappeared from her T-shirt. They realized that there had been a magical fugitive on the loose, and basically, Ray and the rest of the women decided to travel back in time to figure out what happened. And I like how they kind of lampshaded how they were talking about Zari hooking up with Nate, and and then start shipping him with the coachman, and they're basically saying, "Oh, we're totally failing the Bechdel, what's it called, the Bechdel test," which is kind of a nice acknowledgement. And then the fact that you found out the coachman was really like a Hindu, like the Hindu god of love, and he's been using this magic dust to keep people completely consumed in lust and love, and people hooking up, whether it's whether it's they're heterosexual couples or same sex, just hooking up at a wedding. And I guess it indirectly leads to Jane Austen not writing her novels, or feeling frustrated, and I guess feeling frustrated because she can't get her novels published. And I guess it'd be and throughout the episode, it deals with how reserved Zari's being, and the Hindu god of love trying to seduce Zari, kind of managing to do so, but mostly just by sweet talking Zari even after they're captured. And he basically uses while he's trapped on the ship, he's able to use his dust to blow into a vent in the ship, which causes the legends to either have sex dreams, or in the case of Ray and Nora, who he hides on the ship until they find a way to prove her innocence in Hank's murder. They just at first it's they try to sleep in the same bed, but not touch one another, even though you see Nora reaching out to hold Ray's hand. He's like, "No, I'm going to be a gentleman, I'll sleep on the couch, sleep on the sofa, furniture." And this is a surprisingly funny moment where she's shocked, where she just falls asleep. Looks uncomfortable, trying to fit into this small chair, and he immediately falls asleep almost immediately. And of course, the dust wakes up. They end up having sex, and the dust wakes them up. They end up having sex, and the Hindu god, talks about how they should Zara was talking about love being a liability in her dystopian future, and it kind of makes her ill-equipped to try to comfort Mona when she had a dream about Kunane, and saying it's you only knew you for such a short time. It's you can't just take a leap of faith, take a leap of faith for a guy person you barely knew. And it's well, that's the definition of romance, taking a leap of faith. And without and not don't damn the consequences. And having getting a similar speech from Jane Austen when they were trying to investigate who the magical fugitive was, and just having her feelings marginalized, and just kind of leads her to just wolfing out, for lack of better terms, and wanting to go attack Jane Austen. And even in her wolf form, like Jane Austen still managed to recognize her, and tries, it was able to kind of like talk her down and says that, and Jane Austen admits her own frustrations, and I guess Mona ends up kind of fixing the timeline by by being her inspiration to continue, given that she was a Jane Austen fan, and Jane Austen is able to manage to get Mona back to her human form, and says that her she writes her novels about love being based on mutual, I guess, like mutual respect and maintaining control, while the what's going on between the Hindu god and Zari becomes this like kind of like very like uninhibited and like all on love, lust, and on emotion. They kind of like reveling in those, and it kind of this them like spreading the dust throughout the town. It kind of leads to everybody like breaking out into like a Bollywood musical number, which is actually pretty cool. That they actually got to work. I was older wondering if Legends would ever do a musical number, but they kind of got to work it into our musical episode. But they got to work a musical number into the show, and with even Sarah and Charlie participating while under the spell, and then even Mona and Ray and Nora breaking out the song. Well, I guess they mostly like speak their verses, so I don't know if that's supposed to be the fact that they couldn't sing or not. But yeah, Mona comes to like talk some sense into Zari, and between that and the revelation that the Hindu guy has like 1,000 wives is kind of what realizes that forget it. We're not doing this, and they kind of like take him into custody. And Nate takes mixed advice while at the funeral, and Constantine's still there with them too about it being taking the brutal, honest approach about how he felt about his father, and basically Nate's last word eulogizing him was saying was like he's a workaholic who never took a day off in his life, but may he rest in peace. And then Nate's mom comes and tells him the story about how they finally took a day off to go to Disney World, but they couldn't because they had to go to the hospital. But he went out of his way to go dress up as Mickey Mouse and say say like, oh, Mickey Mouse came to visit Nate as a child, and then of course there's and then after the revelation, in which Hank's spirit hasn't moved on, but he's able to but Constantine performs a seance where he briefly possesses Mick and tells Constantine about how he's working with Neron. He knew he was a demon. He went to work with him because of unlimited funding for his project, and at the same time, Nate going into a secret basement that Hank had, that apparently he was taking the magical creatures captive and basically training them so we can open up a theme park that I guess like it was just based on a drawing that Nate had when he was 9 about having like dragons and minotaurs and whatnot. And he found like he made a recording that was supposed to be like a commercial for it. It seemed a little bit iffy on that because it always seems like he was being so secretive and having them taken to like a black ops site, and I figured with Neron backing his project, he would overseeing his activities, he would think that that's not what he would. And I guess like Neron seemed to have the most say of what Hank was doing with the magical creatures, so you would think that he wouldn't really approve of that, and so the weaponizing the magical creatures seemed to make more sense given their allegiance, as opposed to like making a theme park, and somehow that wouldn't that Neron wouldn't know about it. So that seems like that seems like a little bit odd, but I think I did like the episode. Like it was a pretty good episode overall in terms of I guess having Zari break down her walls more. I guess like acknowledging she might having feelings for Nate, and Although, I mean, granted, I don't know how some fans are gonna feel about this because I know like there are a lot of like Charlie Zari shippers, and I don't know how it's gonna go overall. But there's another solid episode with Legends. I was kind of surprised they didn't like set up or tease Laurel's Sarah's appearance in this episode in an Arrow episode where she not only got like a modified version of her old like canary cry, as more like a almost like a watch, like or a bracelet. But it's weird that it's like Arrow's the show where Sarah acknowledges Quentin's death and gets to suit up in her white canary costume. Because I know there was like some complaints about Legends of Tomorrow about how the heroes like don't get to wear any of their costumes, and them not glossing over Sarah's reaction to Quentin's death. It gets addressed here, especially in a scene where both her and Black Siren are seen visiting his grave, and like and I guess the whole thing is that because Laura feels like Dinah kind of gave up on her and just kind of assumed that she was responsible for killing that witness, even after Felicity found proof that she was framed and by Emiko, and but then the fact that she was still willing to bring her in because of the fact that she was still going on this crime spree with this person called Shadow Thief, who apparently they met during their tenure with Ricardo Diaz, even though we never saw it, which is feel like it was kind of like shoehorned in. But yeah, they basically go on this crime spree. Laurel using her DA connections to find all these like basically find all the different like cash and like even like a weapon to use to like sell to the highest bidder. And Felicity is refusing to give up on them, and Sarah's like kind of, I think Sarah is kind of in the same boat with Dinah, given how like Earth 2 Laurel keeps constantly rebuffing their attempts to like reform her or reach out to her. And it kind of comes to a head when apparently they're investigating their last hideout, and apparently there's a bomb left behind. And I guess like I don't remember who brings it. I don't remember like who brings it. Which one of the women bring it up about how if she really wanted to kill them, that the bomb, they would have left the bomb or any like warning signs or like a timer on the bomb to like give them a chance to survive. And Sarah decides, I guess after looking over some evidence they were talking about, to go get some air, but she realizes that Earth 2 Laurel would be at Quentin's grave. And they talk about how and it was pretty nice how like Sarah and Dinah both kind of their checkered past, both Dinah and Sarah both acknowledge. Dinah, basically becoming a guess a more murderous vigilante, or I think it's back before she was recruited by Team Arrow to try to avenge Vincent's death when she thought he died. And how they and Felicity reminding Dinah that because of, even in spite of her bad past, they reached out to her and provided support. And then Sarah acknowledging that how she slept with Oliver while she was still dating Earth 1 Laurel, and how she never made much effort to return home to her family, and let everybody think she was dead for the longest time. And she decided that in spite of her harm she did, she had to go home and owe up to it in order to be a better person, which was kind of like a big foreshadowing, and made me wonder. It's like, does this mean like Earth 2 Laurel is going to go back to Earth? Is going to go back to her original Earth, which she eventually does, and I guess it's something that similar to what Barry did with Killer Frost in her titular episode in season 3. Is like, if you're really this much of a murderer, then you're gonna have no problem killing us. Felicity starts to do that. It's like, if you really don't care about you really are the villain. You're say you are, then you want a problem killing all three of us. And she ultimately backs out of it and, uses her Canary Cry to attack Shadow Thief, who anticipated Laurel, turning on her, so she has like a bunch of gunmen attack them, to prevent them from getting to the bomb. But she ends up like detonating it remotely to like just blow up the whole Felicity to blow up the whole warehouse, but gives them enough time for all the canaries and Felicity herself to escape. And though somehow like Shadow Thief survives inexplicably, and Laurel takes Sarah's advice that she's going to go back to Earth 2 and pay for all the harm she did while she was a villain, while she was in league with Zoom. And as a parting gift, well, I guess Sarah leaves like the mechanical Canary Cry with Dinah since she lost her own, and then Felicity gives her the original Laurel's black canary costume as a parting gift. And but the ending kind of made me wonder is like if she's going back to Earth 2, then for how long? Because Katie Cassidy has been seen on the set of filming the season 2 finale. I don't know if it's a flashback or not, but the surprising twist is, well, I guess a sort of surprising twist. Maybe some people didn't find it surprising, but what surprised me is that they had this whole like flash forward arc where apparently Dinah has set up this whole network of canaries, and which didn't get any mention before, and Mia's like trying to like go after the guy wearing the helmet that somehow hunt down vigilantes. I don't know, I guess somehow it's like a tracking system, I guess, identify vigilantes, and with the Archer program in it, and she wants to just go after the guy, and just straight up kill him for what he did, and not just run and hide. And Dinah's trying to give Mia a speech about canaries, we got to stick together as like women looking after women, and it's kind of familiar unit, and Mia's not having any of it. But then of course when she's about to get killed by the guy, the guy in the armor, you see a Canary Cry knock the guy in his ass, and you see Earth 2 Laurel in the Black Siren costume, unfortunately with this terrible blonde wig that Katie Cassidy had to wear in season 3, the two other surviving canaries, and they get the helmet to give to Mia to get back to Felicity, and they says like you got a long way to go in terms of like being a hero. Like it's a lot of hard work. Trust, take it from somebody from experience. And I kind of thought that was a cool twist. That okay, it dispels any rumors that Earth 2 Laurel was dead by 2040. And I guess the whole purpose of the flash forward arc was to show how much this whole thing was a learning experience about how I guess she felt Dinah felt enough remorse for giving up on Laurel that she realized that they gotta have this the unit of canaries gotta stick together and look out for each other even when they fall down, and have them get back up. And her being part of this network apparently means that I guess they're on much closer and better terms now. But yeah, it was a pretty cool episode aside from the shoehorn Shadow Thief thing, and the whole flash forward starting to connect together and connect to the present day subplot. I give the Arrow episode a 9 out of 10. But anyway, guys, how do you feel about these episodes? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. And stay tuned. I will have a legit reaction video for The Flash, since I won't be able to watch that live. So hopefully that'll be up after this video. So stay tuned.